Journeying. Journeying is an archetypal human experience. I especially feel the call to adventure as winter turns to spring, but the urge to get out of the house and experience home on the road can happen any time of the year. Most years I live out of my Sprinter van 25% of the year, and when I found I could afford world travel in 2016, I explored 25 countries. Now, I was going to record this card in my Sprinter van called Zap Force One, but it was just sort of too much trouble to move all the equipment out there. And most people probably aren't looking at the card, looking at the videos, but listening to the voice. But if you look at the card, you will see pictures of Zap Force One and from some of my travels. So that's an important addition to your card experience. Staying in one place for too long so easily and inevitably becomes a stagnant routine. Emerson said, "The problem with traveling is you take yourself with you." It's true that you can't rely on a change of setting to take the place of inner dynamism, but I would rephrase Emerson's aphorism to read, "The problem and possibility of traveling." Traveling can be a change of scenery to distract from inner stagnation, but it can also be a secular pilgrimage, a voyage of discovery and transformative rite of initiation. And I could add that that's very key to American culture, which was a pioneering culture, originally at least. Now, all we have left to pioneer, I suppose, is outer space, but also inner space. That's what I'm working on. Um, here's just an artifact that happens to be on my top of my computer. That's kind of like a representation of traveling in inner space somehow. But back to the card text. Well, actually, my speaking off the cuff from the card is that the secular pilgrimage, the road trip, is seems to be an especially American archetype. So if you think about, what many consider the most classic American novel of all time, Huckleberry Finn, and we have this boy and a slave traveling on a raft down the Mississippi. Jack Kerouac's not very well written book, On the Road. Blue Highways is another great classic if you want to read a more profound on the road book. And there are quite a number of others that are quite worthwhile. So it's a very American thing to take this rite of initiation of the vast road trip or world travels. Okay. Let's see if I can regain my place here. Travel can bring you into contact with other cultures that can give you perspective on your culture and conditioned assumptions, because so many Americans are like, this is the greatest country in the world, or this is the worst country in the world, it's a disgrace. But these people often have never been to other countries to know, compare, and contrast. There are so many forms of travel: inner, outer, international, interdimensional. But pick your traveling companions, if any, with great care. If you haven't observed a person under acute stress, you may not know who they are and may be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised. Mostly I prefer to travel alone, so I'm super selective if I bring anyone with me. I did travel to the Texas Eclipse Festival in 2024 with two of my closest friends. They're in the picture there. And we all got along really well and worked through small conflicts like music preferences easily via negotiation and compromise. So it's very crucial who you choose to bring with you, if anyone. And I definitely discovered that when I was a wilderness guide, because some people fall apart under pressure, and some people, and it's not always the people you expect, do well under pressure. And that can be life or death pressure, depending on how extreme the wilderness sojourn is. Wilderness sojourns are a particularly powerful form of travel. It's all too easy to spend most of your incarnation inside a series of rectilinear enclosures, forever cocooned by all the conveniences of technological civilization. But there is something in the human spirit that longs for the depths of the forest, desert canyons, mountaintops, oceans, and caves. Life is not meant to be lived always indoors, surrounded by plasterboard and wires. Get out into the sunlight and sleep under the stars. Life is a journey, so don't film the whole movie of your life indoors, lit by electric light. Answer the call to adventure. There is some, and but let me also make it clear that answering the call to adventure does not always mean going outdoors. Like the biggest adventure of my life, I would consider writing Parallel Journeys, which was mostly done indoors, but it was also interdimensional travel and travel into the imaginal and so forth. So it's let's not completely equate adventure with outdoors, but often they do equate. There are some cases where a lifestyle of perpetual travel is its own trap. For example, in 2024, the year I'm recording this, um, the year I revised this card, I just completed a 44-day road trip that included 19 days at the National Rainbow Gathering, which occurred in Northern California this year. I do free dream interpretation, oracle readings, and general counsel at festivals and Rainbow, which is free and functions as a gift economy. So it self selects for people who live permanently on the road. One of those perpetual travelers was a vital young man who felt that path was still serving him well, but he was only like 24 or 25 years old. But most other perpetual travelers who came to me were older and were feeling exhausted and unfulfilled socially and creatively with life on the road. They were struggling to find a way back to a housed life with financial stability. I do have a house and stability to come back to, but I didn't have those when I went on the road long term in 1995. I tell that story in The Path of the Numinous, which is also a video. It's linked within the card. During the road trip that just ended, I noted that I had little of the insomnia that I often had at home while trying to sleep in a much more comfortable bed. However, I also experienced the anti-magic as well as the magic of travel. The anti-magic is that travel is often at the cost of the magic of daily creative writing sessions. Even though the back of my van is set up to work as a writing lab, the demands and opportunities of many travel scenarios don't allow time for those sessions. I've been to Burning Man, surrounded by amazing, surreal art, and nevertheless felt the anti-magic of losing Parallel Journeys creative writing sessions that take me to other worlds and alternate timelines. And you can read Parallel Journeys. It's linked in the card, free on the website. The highest value centers in my life, creativity, relationships, and travel, are in some ways synergistic and symbiotic, but in other ways, they can be antagonists where I pursue one of those at the cost of the others. Having just gotten back from an epic road trip, the desire to travel is currently overwhelmed by the desire to resume my highly disciplined home life with daily writing sessions. Being in a stationary home currently feels more empowered. Here is where I can best fulfill my highest priority of creating original content. When I travel, I meet people I've never met before, and that's socially fulfilling. But when I create online content, like what you're listening to right now, I can reach many more people, though I will not meet most of them. It is also possible that this card could refer to an intense and metamorphic inner journey. The wanderer would also apply to new situations, a new job, social situation, even if this doesn't mean geographical change. When we encounter something new, we need to be humble, alert, and adaptable. Finally, we are all on a journey traveling through human incarnation from birth to death. Therefore, the core of the wanderer's stance is relevant to any human life. I also recommend reading hexagram number 56, The Wanderer, from the Wilhelm Baines I Ching. Here's an excerpt and some excerpts from some other I Chings. When a man is a wanderer and stranger, he should not be gruff nor overbearing. He has no large circle of acquaintances, therefore he should not give himself airs. He must be cautious and reserved. In this way he protects himself from evil. If he is obliging toward others, he wins success. A wanderer has no fixed abode. His home is the road. Therefore, he must take care to remain upright and steadfast, so that he sojourns only in the proper places, associating only with good people. Then he has good fortune and can go his own way unmolested. And from Sarah Denning's excellent The Everyday I Ching, the current situation is temporary. Do not let yourself get too deeply involved. Be prepared for change. Avoid making a commitment to any particular person or situation. Consider this as a time when you can gather information, expand your horizons, and make discoveries about yourself and others. Be practical and willing to adapt to whatever changes may occur. When meeting new people, be respectful but also cautious at first and a little reserved. Associate only with those whose motives you feel you can trust. Do not compromise your self-respect in an effort to win acceptance. If you are sincere and courteous, the right people will assist you. Be sure to express your gratitude to anyone who gives you a helping hand. Where possible, be helpful in return. An opportunity for personal growth. You are wandering in unfamiliar territory without a map. Your journey is about exploring new ideas and possibilities, perhaps even a new identity. You will be quite safe as long as you observe certain ground rules. Whatever the situation, treat it as a learning experience. Most importantly, be self-reliant. Because circumstances could change at any time, you cannot depend too much on others. This means that your only true security lies within. You are therefore thrown back on your own resources. This gives you an opportunity to develop your ability to cope with the unfamiliar. If you can be at ease with yourself regardless of circumstances, you will respond to whatever happens in the most appropriate way. So again, those are some I Ching quotes. The I Ching emphasizes, and I would like to repeat here, that the wanderer really applies not just to obvious sojourns, but to life itself, which is a journey between birth and death. So the same principles of what it means to be a traveler, keeping yourself as safe as possible. You can also see a card called No Safe Walk Through Life. That was something my dad said near the end of his life. He was a D-Day survivor. So there's a limit to how safe you can make any journey, including the one between birth and death. But many of the wanderer's principles of not being gruff or overbearing, being humble and alert, applied to that larger journey that applies to all of us. As the title implies, my sci-fi epic Parallel Journeys involves many journeys, and it involves people being on the road in sprinter vans and in other ways traveling interdimensionally. And the most important characters are all travelers. Their lives embody principles of life-affirming travel. And you can read that book, again, free on Zap Oracle. You can also get it as a print, as a Kindle, as an Audible on Amazon. I think the audio version recorded by me is the best. If you can't afford an Audible membership, email me, jonathanzapp@hotmail.com, and I'll see about getting you free access to the audiobook. And then there's some other major links there to follow up. So be a wise traveler, and remember that the journey is the destination.